Long ago, there was a beautiful village named Poti. It was a place of joy and unity, home to many tribes, Twaza, Moni, Notsi, Yubo, and others. The people lived in peace, their children ran freely through the fields, and their markets were filled with the sound of trade and laughter. But one season, a shadow fell upon Koti. Children began to disappear. The first was a young boy who had been sent by his father to fetch water from the stream. His clay pot was later found broken by the path, but the boy was never seen again. The second was a girl who had gone to play in the compound of her friend. The friend returned home when the sun set, but the girl never made it back to her own house. The third was a child who followed his elder brother to the farm. At some point, he strayed from the path to chase after a butterfly, and though the brother searched for hours, calling his name, he was gone without a trace. One by one, children vanished, and fear gripped the entire village. Mothers wept, fathers searched the forest, and the elders gathered under the great tree, asking themselves,
"What is happening to our land? Did we offend the gods? Is there a stranger among us bringing misfortune?"
Even the king of Poti grew restless. He summoned the village council. They pounded their staffs on the ground and declared,
"This evil must be uncovered. Until we know the truth, no family is safe."
Days passed, and the village market remained busy as ever. Traders shouted their prices, buyers bargained loudly, children ran about carrying baskets.
How much?
Life had to continue, but beneath the noise was an undercurrent of fear. Every parent kept a closer eye on their children. Then one day, a villager noticed something strange. A child who had come to the market to buy foodstuffs was seen talking to the groundnut seller. They spoke for a while, and the child even tasted some of her groundnuts. The villager thought nothing of it until the very next day, when that same child was declared missing. The witness hurried to report what had been seen to the village chairman. The council listened in silence. The chairman finally spoke.
"We cannot act in haste. But we must watch. If truly she is involved, she will reveal herself again."
From that day, spies were secretly assigned to observe the groundnut seller. They followed her movements, watching how she dealt with people in the market. At first, nothing seemed unusual. She greeted customers, sold her goods, and smiled kindly. The spies kept watching. Days turned into weeks, and slowly a pattern began to reveal itself. Not all children were treated the same. When children from the Twaza or Moni tribes came by, the groundnut seller would laugh with them, hand them groundnuts, and send them on their way. But when children of the Notsi tribe drew near, her eyes grew sharper. She would persuade them to taste her groundnuts, and afterwards, the children seemed dazed, walking slowly, their eyes clouded, as though their spirits had been stolen. The spies reported this to the village chairman, who in turn carried the matter to the king. The king's face darkened.
"So it is true, let us wait for the gods to expose her fully."
One bright afternoon, a boy named Katibo, son of the Notsi tribe, was sent by his mother to the market. He was cheerful, carrying his basket, unaware of the danger that awaited him. As he passed the groundnut seller, she smiled and offered him a handful of roasted nuts. Katibo ate them gladly. Within moments, the boy's steps grew heavy, and his eyes glazed over. Without protest, he began to follow the groundnut seller away from the busy market, toward the lonely path that led to her hut near the river. But this time, the spies followed. The groundnut seller did not know she was being trailed. She walked quickly, dragging Katibo along until they reached her isolated hut. Once inside, she bolted the door tightly. The spies tried the door, but it was sealed with charms so strong that no ordinary hand could break them. They called upon the village shaman, who arrived with sacred herbs and chants. With the strength of the gods, they broke the barrier and stormed inside. What they saw froze their hearts. In the dark corners of the hut were many children, mouths gagged, hands and feet chained. Some were weak with hunger, some too tired to cry, but their eyes lit up when they saw the rescuers. Among them was Katibo, still under the days of the enchanted groundnuts. The groundnut seller was seized. At first, she struggled and cursed, but when the shaman sprinkled holy water upon her, she screamed and fell to the ground. Her true voice broke through, and she confessed. She was not of Koti. She had been sent from a rival land to bring sorrow upon the Notsi tribe, to weaken their people and break the peace of Koti. The groundnuts were enchanted, a tool to lure and enslave the children. The king's council declared her guilty. She was banished from Koti, never to return, and sacrifices were offered at the river to cleanse the land of her evil. The children were restored to their families, and once again laughter returned to the homes of Koti. But the story of the missing children was never forgotten. And so, the elders say, beware of strangers who come with sweet gifts, for sometimes evil hides behind a smiling face.
Hi there. Please, to help grow this channel, subscribe.